Hello, good evening. Happy Sunday. It is such a pleasure to get to be here with you. If we haven't met before, my name is Kay. I am an spiritual life coach or ecstatic life coach, I sometimes like to say. And I try to create this space each Sunday night for us to get together, do some meditative work together, and work on coming home to ourselves. So it's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you for taking time out of your busy life to come connect, meditate, do some spiritual work. So this week, I wanted to explore one of my very favorite topics, something that is very near and dear to my heart, and that is the idea of being enthusiastically yourself. Many of you probably know a little bit about my story, that I grew up as somebody who wanted to be anyone but me, that I wanted to be a movie star or a superhero or Instagram people. I see somebody, right? Like I just want to be somebody else. That I didn't want to be myself. That me was uncomfortable. Me was sometimes felt dangerous or boring or shameful. And so in order to be okay in the world, I did a lot of pretending. I created a lot of pretense, a lot of who I thought others wanted me to be. Whether that be straight acting or dress a certain way or act a certain way or pursue a certain type of career or a certain type of lifestyle. That being me was not something safe. It was not something I could do. Instead, I needed to perform a role, both literally as an actor, but also in the way I live my life. And by the time I reached my early 20s, I had begun to forget what being enthusiastically me was. I didn't know what my real voice sounded like. It's something I see a lot of people comment here on YouTube that they really like the way that I talk. Well, thank you, I appreciate that, but I used to get a lot of feedback that my voice sounded fake or affected. I remember hearing myself laugh and thinking, that's not my laugh, that's somebody else's laugh that I remember hearing, a friend of mine's, that I didn't even remember what my own laugh sounded like. That I would look at pictures of myself and see somebody who was hiding behind a mask, that I didn't see my truth radiating through my eyes. Yes, I wanted to be Batman, exactly. That was literally actually one of my life goals when I was in high school. I actually called up Warner Brothers Studios and asked if I could audition for a new Batman movie. That is a legit thing I did as a 16-year-old. A lot of gumption there. A lot of gumption. A lot of balls. I didn't know who I was anymore. When I was little, I had feelings that I was probably same-sex attracted, but I so didn't want to be that I was even able to cut myself off from that knowledge, that I legitimately didn't know my orientation. Was I straight? Was I asexual? Was I bi-curious? Like, I legitimately hid it from myself. And I didn't have very many meaningful relationships because people could tell that there was something going on, that there was some level of dishonesty within. And hint about relationships, someone can only be as honest with you as they are with themselves. If they are having a hard time being honest with themselves, they're not going to be honest with you in a relationship. Good thing to keep in mind, whether that's with friends or a significant other, they need a certain level of self-acceptance so that they can be real with you. And so to arrive at a point where, about a decade later, I can enthusiastically say that I love being me, and I am deeply grateful for my life, and I feel connected with my truth. And that's not to say I don't have moments where I still don't feel insufficient. I was just having a conversation with my husband downstairs about feelings of insufficiency coming up, about not being blank enough, not being man enough, muscular enough, whatever. I still have struggles of not feeling enough, but I don't in the same way that I used to struggle with feeling fake or feeling like I can't be authentically me. I believe my connection to myself, in all of its difficult and conflicting and contradictory bits, is my strength. I believe that my sensitivity, something that people have mocked me for throughout my life, sensitivity that has been very challenging, navigating a very difficult and rough world, I have come to appreciate it as one of my strengths. My peculiarities, I've come to see as being gifts, things to be celebrated. And in a very deep way, I've learned to come home to myself. So I want to make that the theme of today's spiritual work, to enthusiastically enjoy being you, to truly come home to your real self. So with your permission, I would like to do a little bit of spiritual work around that today. So please, get comfortable. You can sit in a chair, you can sit on the floor, you can lay down, you can do a handstand, whatever floats your boat, whatever gets you excited. And then find a few deep breaths. Feel yourself just exhale out. Let go of your day. Your day will still be there when we're done, I promise, but for this little bit of time, this is just for you. This is for you. Let everything else go. With every exhale, feel yourself soften. You can even say to yourself, soft belly, soft belly, soft belly, inviting your belly to expand on the inhale, contract on the exhale. When we talk about being enthusiastically ourselves, the belly comes up, right? Like a lot of us have been taught to keep it sucked in, keep it tight, flex your abs, or pretend like you have them. You're not supposed to stick your belly out ever. But that's how we're meant to breathe. So on the inhale, feel your belly soften, feel it expand. Say thank you for your belly. Exhale, let it retract in. Soften my belly. Soften my belly. Letting your body just be as it is. Your bulgy bits, your saggy bits, your uncomfortable bits, all of it. It's all you. It's all good. It's all welcome here. Every single person have their areas that they feel uncomfortable about. It's part of being human. And as we breathe, I'm just going to do a little bit of mantra to invoke a cleansing energy. I'm going to do some mantra for Ganesh, the remover of obstacles, the elephant-headed deity. So just try and let the sound of the mantra wash over you, and if you can, feel it just start to vibrate within. You can join me if you know it. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. 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 Jai Ganesh. So I want you to take your mind's eye and start to feel it drop down within you. Feel it sinking down through your head into your throat. You can swallow if you feel tightness in the throat. Feel your mind's eye drop into your chest. And come down into your belly, around the navel, maybe slightly above or below. And this area is called many different things. Some would call it the Hara Center, some would call it the Madhipuna Center. It's the space of personal agency, of our identity in the world, of who we are and who we believe ourselves to be. And especially if you're somebody like me, especially if you're somebody who grew up feeling queer or different, you learned the message that you are less worthy of taking up space, you are less worthy of being seen, your voice should be quieted, you should be on the sidelines. And I think if you were raised different or queer, this energy center doesn't quite fully open in the same way it does for the kids who feel like they fit in, the kids who feel like they're straight and cisgendered and normal, if there is such a thing. But I know for me this has been a center of blockage for most of my life. But this is the space where we shine out to the world. The element of fire lives here. So just breathe into the belly. And what do you notice when you center your awareness deep in your core? Now, if you're like me, at some point in your life, somebody directly or indirectly told you who you're supposed to be. They told you about the people you're supposed to love, the partner you're supposed to have, the job you're supposed to do, the way you're supposed to act or behave. You were given guidelines or even strictures around who are you in the world. If you're a man, it probably had something to be around being swaggering, being macho, chasing women. If you're a woman, it probably had something around the idea of being adequately feminine, giving up your power, being quiet, not raising your voice. Sometimes our families or our teachers or our cohort had very specific ideas over who you should be. Like, yes, you're supposed to be a doctor. You're supposed to be an engineer. You're supposed to be a lawyer. And they didn't give us space to express ourselves. When I think back on my childhood ambition about wanting to be an actor, certainly there was a huge element of, I want to escape my body, I want to escape my life, I want to be someone else, I want to walk in another's shoes, I want to be anyone but me, I want to get to be a superhero, I want to feel safe through that. But there was also an expectation. I know my family very much wanted to see me succeed in that arena. They very much wanted me to be an actor and to be successful in that way. They very much pushed me. I can even remember my freshman year of college calling my mom on the phone in tears saying, "Why did you push me to be a theater major? These aren't my people. I don't think I belong here. I don't think this is where I'm meant to be." And the message I got was, "Oh, you're just having a rough time. No, you're supposed to be doing that." And it took until my late 20s, until I was 30, before I could finally hear the message of, maybe you're right, maybe this isn't what you're supposed to be doing. maybe that's not who you are. It took until my mid-20s to start to realize, hey, maybe you're not straight. Maybe even though you were told you're supposed to find a beautiful woman and settle down, maybe that's not who you are. We get programmed by our families, by our cultures, even by our younger selves. So see if you can start to sense that egg, that sense of a shell that says, you are so-and-so, and you do such and such, and you are supposed to be a certain way. And if you can start to feel that paper mache piñata skin around you, can you maybe start to press through it a little bit? Can you maybe start to feel beyond it and say, no, I am all things. I am so much more than any label, any designation, any idea. I am powerful beyond imagining. I am wise beyond reckoning. I am ecstatic. I am wild. And I shall not be contained. Can you give space for every iteration of you? Can you breathe into your navel and feel it go? I am me. Whatever that might be. Whoever that might be. I have no expectations I need to fulfill. Now, I do get that I am a white, male, cisgendered American. I have a lot more flexibility to start to lean into that than maybe somebody who comes from a culture that says your individual identity doesn't matter. Right? What the family, what the society thinks of you is more important than what you think of yourself. That's a much harder wall to break through. Maybe you came up being more directly programmed than I did about who you're supposed to be, and again, it's a harder wall to walk through, break through. But at the end of the day, if we truly believe that the only journey worth taking all the way to the destination is that journey home to our real self, our authentic, our wild, our radiant self, then that means we have to be willing to overcome any obstacle, climb any barrier, break down any wall, in order to see ourselves fully home, to fully encounter our truth. And that means we have to challenge every assumption. It means we have to say, F this. My whole life I believed I was XYZ person, but I'm not. I'm something so much more. Because as you get closer to your journey's end, as you get closer to that state of cosmic realization, you're eventually going to have to let go of everything you thought you were. You're no longer going to be a son or daughter or husband or lover or space pirate or whatever it is you think of yourself as being. You're going to have to realize that you are nothing but divinity made flesh. That you are 7 colors of light masquerading as skin. That you are nothing more than energy. And everything you think you are is going to have to dissolve. That might be a little bit of ways away yet. You can work on that one tomorrow. For today, let's just start with the limiting beliefs. The ones that are keeping you boxed in to something that is not your truth. So come on down here, come on into your navel. Oh. Breathe into it. Are we positive energy or negative energy? What if there is no positive? What if there is no negative? There is just energy. Energy in varying states of contraction. What we think of as bad is usually just constricted energy, but it's still the same energy that makes up the heavenly realms, that makes up God. There's no distinction. What we call good energy is usually more expansive, more flowing energy. Good and bad is just a perspective of the limited mind. There is no positive or negative. There is either open or closed, joyful or painful, but it's not good or bad. And ultimately all of it is us. And all of it is our guide home. It's one of the things I love about the spiritual path that I've been walking, is this idea of all is well. All is perfect. Even the deeply, deeply uncomfortable bits are still perfect. Even the scary bits, the ugly bits. It's all the same stuff. And it's our limited sense of capacity that sees it as anything other than divinity made flesh. Because everything is God incarnate. So notice as we're talking about this today, notice as we're working in this today, where are you finding those physical sensations of being limited? Where are you finding those places where you feel a little held back? Where you feel like your skin and your essence just don't quite fit? Like a mismatched puzzle piece or a peg shoved in a wrong hole. Breathe into it. Breathe past it. And feel yourself wildly expand. You are you. You cannot be contained by labels. You cannot be confined by strictures and definitions and perspectives. You are whole, you are radiant, you are magnificent. There is nothing you could ever do to separate you from that truth. You are divinity made flesh, and so is everyone else. Om Namah Shivaya. I bow with respect to Shiva, the God within, the God without. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Nama Om. And then I want to invite you to breathe even deeper down into your body. I want you to breathe all the way down into your perineum, down into the roots, the part of your pelvis making contact with your seat or the earth, wherever you're sitting. And I want you to feel the connection from your navel into your root. Your root is responsible for your feeling of survival, of thriving, of your right to exist. Your navel is your center of your personal power and your expression of self in life. Who you are, who you present yourself as being. By marrying these two spaces, we know that we have a right to be here. We know that we have a right to thrive just as we are, not as how somebody else wants us to be. Yes, the opinions of other people matter. The opinions of the people we love matter. But at the end of the day, the only person we're accountable to is ourselves. When you go to bed at night, the only person you're going to be dreaming of and exploring the celestial realm of dreams with is you. Your parents aren't going to be there with you. Your spouse isn't going to be there with you. Your children, your best friends, your dog. Maybe your dog. Your dog might go there with you. I think my dog's my spirit guardian. Only you are responsible for your journey. And at the end of your life, if you still feel limited, if you still feel blocked from your truth, it's not your parents' fault. It's not your ex-wife's fault. It's not your third grade teacher's fault. It's yours. Only you can be accountable for the choices you make, the places you've walked, beliefs you've held on to. Just sit and be here with yourself. How comfortable is it for you to just be? To just sit here. To just simply be with you. Is it uncomfortable? You know, sometimes people ask, why do I do a lot of my YouTube videos shirtless? And obviously it's because, I mean, who wouldn't? The reason I do these shirtless is because I'm being vulnerable. I'm showing my skin. I'm not hiding. I'm willing to bear all, even if I feel like my body's not perfect. Even if I feel some days unworthy, like who am I? Maybe I should keep my body covered because I don't look like that Instagram model or that Men's Health fitness dude. But I'm going to be me. And I'm going to show up as fully as I'm able, realizing that coming into authenticity, coming into really truly loving and accepting yourself is an ongoing journey. We don't just reach it one day and say, I'm done. We keep going, and we keep going. We go deeper, we go further. It's the same with enlightenment. You don't just hit enlightenment one day and think, cool, did it, check mark, good to go. You still keep showing up, you still keep going deeper, you still work for a higher level of attainment. The journey home to you is the most satisfying journey you can take. It is the one that will bring you the greatest lasting peace and happiness. Because when relationships fail, when the day ends and night comes, when we grow old, the only thing we'll have to turn to is ourselves. So we better like the company we keep. Can you just be here with you? Can you just sit here with you? Even if it's uncomfortable. You are safe. You are beloved. You are well. You are whole. Even with all your imperfections, you are still perfect. You are still whole and still where you're meant to be. We try so hard to be that which we are not. We plump and prick and tweeze and Botox our bodies. We try on different personas, different faces, like some people try on hats. And not that there's anything wrong with changing yourself if you feel like something doesn't reflect your essence, but if making those external changes led to happiness, then the Kardashians and the Jenners would be the happiest people on the planet, and Lord knows that ain't the case. I'm sure they're lovely people, maybe, but it's gotta start in here. Can you sit alone with you and like the company you keep? I want to be real. I want to be authentic. I want to be wise and vulnerable and powerful and strong and exposed where I'm weak and tender. I want to be multifaceted and kind and compassionate but fierce when I need to be. I want to be loyal but willing to betray someone because it doesn't resonate with my truth. I want to be tender and yet barbed when I need it to be. I want to be the beautiful cacophony of me, the beautiful clashing definitions, the robust chaos. I want to embody all of it. I don't want my narrative to make sense, I want it to be real. I want to embody the sensual and the pristine, the erotic and the platonic, the divine and the devilish sometimes. I want to be all that is me, all that is gloriously human, to revel in this moment. And I wish that for you too. I wish for you to be your full, inspired, chaotic, conflicted, radiant, loving, sensual, inspired, glorious self. Because when we get down to it, at our core, we are all the same. We are all starlight wrapped in skin. We are all truth, consciousness, and bliss. We are all Shiva. We are all Gaia. We are all God, whatever you want to call it. And all the little things that make us feel separate. That's the confetti being thrown into the air. Different colors, different shapes, different hues. Should be celebrated, but it's not who we are. It is as ephemeral as little pieces of paper dotting the sky. So let go and let yourself be you. There's nothing to prove. There's no one to please. Everyone else is going to die anyway at some point. All you have left is to wrangle with you. And my, what a magnificent challenge that is. I hope this work today has brought you a little bit of peace. I hope that you've found a little bit of deeper connection with you, with your heart, with your truth. To remember that however you find yourself, imperfections and all, you're still beautiful. You're still worthy. And you still belong. It is an honor and a privilege to sit with you, to share with you, to connect. If you feel so called, please feel free to share a little bit of your story of connecting within in the comments below. Blessings, Craig. We all have to walk the journey home. And the best we can do is walk along some other souls taking the same journey, laughing, sharing a couple drinks as we go, and having a hell of a time. Thank you for your spirits. Thank you for your energy. It is an honor and privilege to be here to work with you, to practice with you, to dive deeper within with you. So thank you. In different spiritual traditions, they talk about community being one of the jewels of spiritual practice, of spiritual work. So thank you for being my jewel tonight. Be here same time next week. If you have any requests for these classes, any topic you'd like us to specifically talk on, please feel free, shoot me a note, a DM, or an email. If you want an edited video on a topic, please again, just reach out, let me know. If it's something I feel called to speak on, I will definitely work on it for you. And always feel free to leave a comment. I always try to respond to every comment that somebody makes. so know that I see you. Pleasure, Owen. Thank you so much for your time tonight. I'm Kay. This is Ecstatic Self. And I hope you have a wonderful week. Oh, I love that bell. Thank you. Indeed, beautiful cacophony of light and dark. Cacophony. I like to say cacophony. My husband laughs at me for that. Cacophony. 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 I said it right the first time tonight. So, many blessings. Much love to you all. I hope you have a fabulous week. Hope to see you here again next week. And take care. Be well.